The wind howled across the ruins of what was once a proud alien city. The buildings were broken. The sky was gray. Ash floated in the air like snow. War had ended months ago, but this place had not healed. In the shadow of a collapsed wall, an alien woman sat on the ground, her back pressed against cold stone. Her skin was pale purple, stretched tight over her bones. Her arms trembled from weakness. In her lap lay a small bundle, a baby wrapped in an old cloth. The baby cried softly, not loud, not wild, just soft, tired sobs, like he was too weak to scream. The mother reached into a small metal can beside her. Inside was one piece of hard, dry food, her last ration. She broke it slowly with her shaking hands and looked down at her child. The baby opened his mouth, not crying now, just waiting. She smiled a little, even though tears were in her eyes. "I'm sorry, little one," she whispered. "Mama has nothing left." She placed the last bite gently into his mouth. He sucked on it slowly, eyes half closed. She didn't eat. She didn't even try. She had already made her choice. Her head leaned back against the wall, her eyes closed. Her body felt cold. Light faded from the sky. She thought this would be the end. Footsteps, crunching over broken glass. Someone was coming. The woman didn't move. She was too weak. A shadow appeared at the end of the alley. It was tall, human, a man. He stopped when he saw her. For a moment he said nothing, just stared at the thin alien woman and her silent, starving child. Her body didn't react. She had no strength left. But her mind panicked. Was he a soldier? A thief? Would he take her baby? She opened her mouth, but no sound came. The man slowly removed the pack from his back and knelt down. He opened it, pulled something out, warm, wrapped in foil. Food. Real food. Steam rose from it. She blinked. Her baby smelled it too. He stirred, turning his head weakly. The man spoke, his voice soft. "It's safe, I just made it. Do you want some?" She tried to speak, but her throat was too dry. Still her arms moved, hugging her baby tighter, protecting him. "I'm not here to hurt you," the man said. "I saw you from the road, I thought you were dead." He tore off a small piece of the bread and held it out. She didn't reach for it. Not yet. He waited. Then, finally, she whispered in a hoarse voice, "Feed him." The man looked surprised, then nodded. Gently, he leaned forward and placed the warm bread near the baby's mouth. The little one sucked on it slowly, and a small sound escaped, something like a tiny sigh. The mother exhaled. Her shoulders dropped. She had saved him. Again. Minutes passed. The man started a small heat light beside them. He poured water into a cup and handed it to her. This time she took it. Her hands shook. She drank, and a single tear fell from her eye. Not from pain, not from fear, but from simple, unexpected kindness. The man watched her closely. "My name's Adam," he said. "I'm just a builder. I came here to fix power lines. I didn't think anyone was left alive." The woman looked at him. Her voice was faint. "I am no one." He shook his head. "You're a mother. That's not no one." She looked down at her baby, who had fallen asleep with his face against her chest. The warmth of the light, the smell of food, the sound of a kind voice. It was too much. Her lips trembled, and suddenly she began to cry. She covered her mouth, trying to stop the sound, but the tears came fast. Her whole body shook. Adam didn't touch her. He just sat nearby, quiet, letting her cry, letting her let it out. Because sometimes the kindest thing is to just sit and stay. For the first time in weeks, the child slept in peace. And for the first time in even longer, the mother felt something she thought was gone forever. Hope. The sun was rising over the ruins. Its light touched the broken streets, the shattered glass, and the bodies long forgotten. It also reached the alley where an alien mother and her child lay wrapped in silence and warmth for the first time in many days. Adam sat cross-legged across from them, poking gently at the tiny heat light between them. It flickered orange and gold, soft but steady. He had not spoken in a while. He didn't want to scare her again. The mother had cried herself to sleep. Her child, fed and full, lay curled in her arms. The tension in her face had softened, but her cheeks were still streaked with tears. Adam pulled out a ration bar from his pack, unwrapped it slowly, and took a bite. Not because he was hungry, but because he wanted her to see that he would not take more than her. The mother stirred. Her eyes opened halfway, then widened slightly when she saw him still there, still watching, still waiting. She sat, up slowly, holding the child close. "I didn't leave," Adam said quietly. "Didn't plan to." Her voice was low. "Why?" He shrugged. "Didn't seem right." She blinked. "Are you a soldier?" He shook his head. "No. Used to fix towers. Now I just try to survive." She looked at his pack, then at the warm drink in his hand. "You brought food." Adam nodded. "It's yours if you want more. There's enough." Her lips trembled. "Nothing is ever free." "I didn't ask for payment." She turned away slightly. "Everyone does them in the end." Adam leaned forward, not too close. "What's your name?" She hesitated. "I don't have one anymore." "Can I give you one then?" She blinked. "I'll call you Ray," he said. Short, simple, sounds strong. She didn't respond at first. Then, the corner of her mouth twitched, almost a smile. A few hours later, Adam stood and stretched. "I've got a small shelter down the street. Safer than this alley. It has medicine, blankets, heat. You can rest properly there." Ray looked at the baby in her arms. "It's not safe to move him. He is weak." Adam nodded. "I can carry him if you let me." She froze. Her arms tightened. "Please," she said, voice sharp. "No one touches him." Adam lifted his hands. "All right, I'll carry the pack. You carry him." Ray looked at his eyes. There was no threat in them. No greed. Only patience. She slowly rose to her feet. Her knees almost buckled, but she held on. Adam reached out to steady her, then stopped himself. She regained her balance on her own. "I'm ready," she whispered. They walked through the dead streets. The city was silent except for the sound of ash blowing in the wind. Old machines lay rusted and broken. Crushed signs still hung from leaning buildings. A once busy market was now only bones and dust. Ray's steps were slow, her child tight against her chest. Adam didn't rush her. He led the way but never walked too far ahead. They passed a burned-out transport truck. A group of birds scattered. Suddenly, Ray stopped. Adam turned. She was staring at a cracked glass window. Inside, the reflection showed her thin body, her dull skin, her hollow cheeks. She didn't look like a queen. She looked like a ghost. "I used to wear blue silk," she whispered. "I had rings on every finger. I had a home." Adam waited. She didn't say more. She just kept walking. Finally, they reached a small bunker behind an old fuel station. It was hidden behind crates and scrap metal. Adam punched a code into the keypad and the door clicked open. Inside was a single room, dim but clean. A mat on the floor, a heater in the corner, a box of food, a solar kettle warming water. Ray entered slowly, eyes scanning every wall. "It's small," Adam said, "but quiet. No one comes here." Ray knelt down and laid her baby on the mat. She touched his cheek. His breathing was steady. His skin felt a little warmer. "He's healing," Adam said, kneeling beside her. "He'll be okay now." She looked at him sharply. "How do you know?" He smiled. "Because he's got someone who didn't give up on him." She lowered her eyes, then whispered, "I gave him my last bite." Adam nodded. "And now?" You'll get many more. Ray leaned back against the wall. She didn't cry this time. She just breathed, and for the first time in many, many days, she felt safe. The bunker was warm, but Ray still sat in the corner with her knees pulled up and her baby tight in her arms. She hadn't spoken much since they arrived. She hadn't touched the food, and she hadn't looked Adam in the eyes. He noticed, but said nothing. Instead, he moved quietly. He boiled water, cleaned the heater, checked his supplies. There was no rush. Kindness, he knew, could not be forced. Hours passed. The child stirred gently and let out a tiny cough. Ray straightened at once, rubbing his back softly. Adam watched her from the side. "You're a good mother," he said. She flinched like the words hurt. "No, I'm not," she whispered. Adam walked over slowly and sat near, not too close. "You gave him your last bite. That makes you a better parent than most." She didn't answer, just held the child tighter. "I've seen people throw their kids away when food ran out," Adam continued. "You didn't," she shook her head. "I didn't have a choice. He is all I had left." Adam paused, then asked gently, "What happened to his father?" Ray closed her eyes. Her voice was soft but cold. "He died in the second blast. During the fall, he was a medic. Too slow to run, too noble to leave the wounded." "I'm sorry," Adam said quietly. She looked away. "The others left us behind, said I was weak, said my child would only be a burden. They didn't even let me speak, just turned away." Her fingers dug into the cloth wrapped around the baby. Adam didn't interrupt. "I begged for food," Ray went on. "Begged for shelter. I offered everything I had, but no one helped. They only looked at me, like I was nothing, like dirt." Tears welled in her eyes again, but she didn't let them fall. "I lost my pride. I crawled in the dirt. I stole food from the dead. I would have done worse if it meant he could eat." She glanced at Adam now, eyes full of fire. "So don't call me good. I am shameful." Adam nodded slowly, then said, "You survived." She frowned. "And that means what?" He leaned forward just a little. "It means you're strong. And strong doesn't always look pretty." Ray blinked. He pointed to her baby. "He's alive because of you. Because you refused to die." She looked down at her son. His breathing was soft now, calm. His tiny hand rested on her chest. "I don't want your pity," she said, her voice quieter now. Adam's tone remained gentle. "Then I won't give it." She looked up sharply. "I'm not helping you because I feel sorry," Adam said. "I'm helping because someone once helped me, and I remember what that meant." Ray stared at him. Her throat moved like she was about to speak, but then she stopped. Adam stood and walked to the food crate. He pulled out 2 small bowls, filled one with warm broth, and placed it near her on the floor. "Eat," he said. "You need your strength." She didn't move. He filled the second bowl and sat down with it. He took a bite. Another. Ray's stomach growled. Her eyes locked on the food. Slowly, carefully, she reached out and took the bowl. She sipped. Then again. And again. Until the bowl was empty. Afterwards, she leaned back, wiped her mouth, and whispered, "Thank you." Adam smiled. "Tastes better than that metal ration, huh?" She gave the faintest laugh. It was dry, soft, but real. "Yes," she said. "Much better." The baby whimpered in his sleep. Ray wrapped the cloth tighter around him. Then she looked at Adam again. Her voice was steadier now. "You gave us dinner, and didn't ask for anything." He nodded. "I don't understand humans." "Most humans don't," Adam replied. Ray tilted her head. "Are there more like you?" Adam looked down at his empty bowl, then up at her. "I hope so," he said. "But even if there aren't, now there's you." That night, Ray didn't sleep in the corner. She slept near the heater, beside her baby, under a blanket Adam had left. She still held her child close. but her hands were no longer shaking. And in her dreams, for the first time in what felt like forever, she wasn't running. Morning came quietly. No alarms, no shouting, no fear, only the soft hum of the solar heater and the peaceful breath of a sleeping child. Ray opened her eyes. For a moment, she didn't move. Her body was still wrapped around her baby, and they were both covered in a soft gray blanket. The warmth from the heater brushed against her skin like sunlight, gentle and comforting. She sat up slowly and looked around. No guards, no chains, no locked doors, just the bunker, just safety. Adam wasn't there, but his bag was, his tools, his jacket hung near the entrance. She could smell hot water warming in the kettle. He hadn't left. He had trusted her to be alone here. Ray blinked at the thought. In her world, trust had been gone for so long. It felt like a myth. She rose quietly, checked her baby, still asleep, and walked barefoot across the room. There were shelves on the wall, cans of food, bandages, a small book of hand-drawn maps, old photos clipped to the wall, one of Earth, one of a smiling woman, and one of a large animal Ray didn't recognize. Beside them was something unexpected. A toy. A small wooden creature with bright eyes and tiny carved wings. It looked old and handmade. Ray touched it gently with one finger. Her lips parted, but she didn't speak. The bunker door clicked. Ray turned, tense. Adam stepped inside, carrying a bag of supplies. His face was red from the cold wind outside, but he smiled when he saw her. "You're up," he said. She nodded. "You left the door unlocked." "I knew you wouldn't run," he said simply. She looked at him carefully. "How?" "Because people who run still have somewhere to go. You needed a place to stay." Ray lowered her eyes. "I didn't take anything," she whispered. Adam laughed softly. "I didn't think you would." She didn't laugh with him, but her voice was less sharp than before. "You trust strangers too easily." "No," he said. "I trust people who've been hurt, because they understand what it means to lose everything." Adam unpacked the supplies, dry fruit, new water capsules, a few solar cells. "You went outside?" Ray asked. "Briefly. I don't go far." "Why not?" He shrugged. "Nothing out there for me." She hesitated. "Then why are you still here?" Adam paused, then looked at her. "I came here to fix things," he said. "At first it was machines, towers, wires, but now, maybe I fix people too." Ray looked down at her hands. "I am not broken," she said. "I never said you were." He smiled. "But even strong things need help standing sometimes." She sat by the heater again, watching the steam from the kettle rise. "I don't understand you, human," she said. "I don't expect you to," Adam replied. "Everyone I knew ran from me. I was called cursed. Even the ones I fed turned away." Adam was quiet for a long moment, then he said, "You know what I think?" Ray didn't answer. "I think maybe the world burned," he said, "because it forgot how to care for the ones who couldn't give something back." Ray looked at him, eyes softening. "You're strange," she whispered. "I get that a lot." The child stirred, crying softly. Ray stood at once and picked him up, rocking him gently. Adam watched her, then pulled a small, clean bottle from the pack. "Here," he said. "Warm water for him." Ray took it slowly. "He needs milk, not water." Adam nodded. "I know, but I'll find something better soon." She fed the baby slowly. He drank, eyes half shut, calm in her arms. Adam whispered, "What's his name?" Ray's lips trembled slightly. "I used to call him Kale, after his father." "Can I call him that too?" Adam asked. She nodded once, and just like that, Kale had a name again. Later that night, Ray stood outside the bunker entrance. The air was cold, but she didn't feel it. Ash still drifted from the sky, soft and slow. She looked at the broken city around her, still silent, still ruined. But inside that bunker, There was warmth. There was food, and something even stranger. Something rare. Something like a beginning. Night had wrapped its arms around the ruined city. The stars above were faint, barely seen through the dusty sky. Inside the bunker, the lights were dim. The heater hummed gently. Kyle slept, wrapped in 2 soft blankets, his breathing steady. Ray sat near the wall, knees pulled to her chest. Adam sat across from her, his back against a crate. He had removed his jacket, rolled it up as a cushion, and was slowly drinking something warm from a tin cup. Neither of them spoke. Not yet. Ray had asked for silence earlier, and Adam had given it. But now, she looked at him. Her eyes were darker than usual, not with anger, but with memory. "There's something I never told anyone," she whispered. Adam nodded. "I'm here." She took a long breath, then began. "I was not always poor," she said. "Not always hated. My people, the Valtari, lived in the towers of Varnus. We were healers, teachers. We lived in light." Adam didn't interrupt. "My father was respected. My mother was soft-spoken, wise. I was their only daughter. I was promised to a young scholar, Tavrek. A good male. Strong. Smart. We were to bond during the spring moons." She paused, her voice catching. Then the war came. Adam's face didn't change, but he leaned forward slightly, listening closer. "We lost power, food, trust. The old ways fell apart. My father tried to help the sick. He died with them. My mother followed 2 days later. I buried them both with my bare hands." She closed her eyes. "I remember the dirt under my claws more than I remember their faces." Adam's throat tightened, but he stayed silent. "Tavrek returned from the front lines," Ray said. "Changed, angry, cold. He saw me, with nothing. No land, no wealth, no protection." Her voice lowered. "He broke the bond. Said I was weak. Said I would only drag him down." Adam clenched his hands, jaw tight. He left the next day, and with him, my place in the city. No one spoke to me again. Not the elders, not the healers, not even my friends. Ray looked at her hands. I became a ghost. The room was still. Even the heater's hum seemed quieter now. "I wandered, for months," she said. "I was pregnant. Sick. I sold my hair for medicine. I begged for scraps. No one helped. I gave birth in an empty station, alone." She looked toward Kyle, asleep. He cried, and I cried with him. I thought of leaving, him there, letting him go. It would have been kinder than the life I could offer. Adam's heart pounded, but I didn't. Her voice cracked. I fed him. I fought for him. I stole for him. I gave up everything, except him. Tears slid down her cheeks, silent and slow. "I used to believe in honor," she said. "In community. In the Valtari ways." She looked at Adam now, but kindness came from a human with a broken bag and a warm cup. Adam didn't move closer, didn't speak too quickly. He waited until the moment was ready, then said, "What Tavrek left behind was never meant to stay with you." Ray blinked. "What do you mean?" "I mean he dropped the weight," Adam said. "But you carried it." He pointed to Kale. "You carried him. You carried your shame. You carried all of it. Alone." He leaned forward. "But maybe it's time someone else helped carry it too." Ray looked down, her voice barely a whisper. "You would take on someone like me?" "I already did." She looked at him, confused. Adam smiled softly. "The first time I sat in this bunker, I thought I was fixing it up just for myself. But the moment I opened that can for your son, it wasn't just mine anymore." He stood slowly and walked to a nearby shelf. He pulled out a small sealed package and placed it in front of her. "Dried fruit," he said. "Sweet. Might even make you smile." Ray stared at it, Then, for the first time in weeks, she laughed. It wasn't loud. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. That night, after Ray finally fell asleep beside Cale, Adam sat by the heater and stared at the quiet flame. He thought of Ray's story, of all she had lost and how, somehow, she still had enough left to give. Outside, the wind shifted across the ruins, carrying ash and silence over the city. But deep in one corner of that broken world, a story had been shared. A secret had been trusted, and two strangers had become something more than survivors. They had become a shelter for each other. The fever came quietly. At first, it was just a soft whimper from Cale in the middle of the night. Then a cough. Then another. Ray opened her eyes instantly. Her body moved before her mind was awake. She touched Cale's forehead and froze. Hot, burning. She pulled back the blankets. His skin was flushed, damp with sweat, and his tiny limbs twitched. No. No, no, she whispered, panic rising in her throat. Adam, who had been half asleep near the heater, rushed to her side. "What's wrong?" he asked. Ray's voice shook. "He's burning up." Adam touched the boy's head and felt it too. Too hot, too fast. He stood immediately and ran to the supply crate, pulled out bandages, a cooling pack, opened another box, empty. He cursed under his breath. "What is it?" Ray demanded. "I thought I had more fever meds. They must have gone bad weeks ago." Her eyes widened. "Then get more." "There's only one place that has it," he said. "The old med station 2 clicks north. Problem is, it's syndicate territory now." She didn't blink. "Then go." Adam paused. "It's guarded." "He'll die," Ray whispered. Adam looked at the child, his little body curling from the heat, his tiny fists clenching even in sleep, and without another word he grabbed his jacket. Outside, the wind was stronger tonight. Cold, sharp. The ruined city was still asleep, but Adam moved like a shadow between the broken walls and collapsed towers. He kept low, kept quiet. 2 kilometers felt like 20 in the dark. The med station sat in the middle of a blown-out square. Half the roof was missing. Metal beams stuck out like bones, but light still flickered inside. Someone had restored the power. He crouched behind an old tank shell and watched. 2 syndicate soldiers guarded the front. One paced. One smoked. Adam exhaled slowly. This would not be easy. He circled left. Inside the bunker, Ray sat beside Cale, wiping his forehead again and again with a wet cloth. She whispered old songs, broken lullabies from a past life. "Please stay," she murmured. "Please, little one." She hadn't prayed in years, but tonight she prayed to anything that might be listening. Adam reached the back of the med station, a small vent. He removed his coat and squeezed through the tight opening. Inside, the air smelled like dust and rot. He crawled through the dark, careful not to make a sound, then dropped into the back hall. Rows of shelves, broken lights, fallen machines, and a cabinet. He opened it, dozens of bottles, syringes, tablets. He scanned the labels fast, too fast. His eyes burned. Then he saw it. Keltherin M, Valtari safe fever suppressant, pediatric dose. He grabbed it, then froze. Footsteps. Close. 2. Close. Adam ducked behind a broken terminal just as a guard entered the room. "Someone here?" the guard muttered. Adam held his breath. The guard stepped closer. Then, something outside made a loud crash. A metal can. "Wind?" The guard turned and walked out. Adam didn't wait. He grabbed 2 more vials, shoved them into his jacket, and slipped back into the vent. The run back was faster, harder, more dangerous, but he didn't care. He had something worth running for. Ray looked up the moment the bunker door swung open. Adam stumbled in, panting, bleeding from one shoulder. He held up the vials. "Got it." Ray didn't ask questions. She helped him sit, then took the medicine. Her hands were steady now. She injected the dose into Cale's tiny arm, then waited. Minutes passed, slow, silent. Then Cale's breath eased. The redness in his cheeks faded. The twitching stopped. Ray covered her mouth as her knees gave out. Adam caught her before she hit the floor. "He'll be okay," he said softly. She sobbed into his shoulder, and he let her. Later, she cleaned the cut on his arm in silence. "You could have died," she whispered. "I had to try." "Why?" He looked at her. "Because you're worth saving. Because your child matters. Because this is what family does." But all he said was, "Because I couldn't sit still while he burned." Ray's eyes filled again, but she didn't cry this time. She only whispered, "Thank you," then added, "Stay." Adam blinked. "I mean here," she said. "With us, not just tonight. Stay." Adam didn't answer right away, but he took her hand and didn't let go. Morning came slowly, not rushed, not loud. It came like a soft breath after a long cry, quiet and gentle. Inside the bunker, Cale stirred beneath his blanket. His small fingers stretched, then curled again. His breathing was steady, smooth, and calm. Ray sat beside him, barely blinking. She hadn't slept all night. Not really. But she didn't look tired. She looked like someone who had held on through a storm and now was watching the clouds break. Adam was near the heater, his jacket still stained with dried blood from the cut on his shoulder. He had bandaged it himself, refusing Ray's help. "You had more important work," he had told her, nodding toward Cale. Now he sat with a metal pan and something sizzling inside it. A meal, real food, hot. The smell filled the small room. Ray's eyes turned to him. "You're cooking," she said quietly. He looked back at her with a grin. "Kind of, it's a human thing. We cook when we celebrate." She blinked. "What are we celebrating?" He tilted his head toward Kyle. "He made it." Kyle opened his eyes. Ray gasped softly. He blinked once, then twice. His face turned toward her chest and he made a small sleepy sound like a coo. She leaned down and kissed his forehead. His skin was no longer hot, no longer dry. She whispered, "My little light." Kyle reached up and grabbed her finger, and Ray broke. Tears spilled down her face, but these were not the same tears she had shed in that ruined alley, weak and afraid. These were something new, something healing. She didn't try to hide them this time. She didn't look away. Adam walked over and knelt beside her, holding the pan out. Steam rose from it. Inside were cooked roots, tiny spiced beans, and soft bread made from powdered grain. It was simple, but it smelled like life. "Dinner," he said. Ray wiped her face, laughed through the tears, and took the plate with both hands. She looked at him. "You did all this?" "I've had worse meals," Adam said with a smirk. She took a bite. Her lips trembled again, but for a different reason now. It was warm, salty, real. Her stomach ached from the sudden kindness of it, and she cried again. But she didn't stop eating. Adam watched quietly, not saying anything. He didn't need to. He just let her feel. Let her be. Later, after Cale drank water and fell back to sleep, Ray sat with her back against the wall, holding the plate in her lap. "I forgot what it felt like," she said softly. Adam looked over. "What?" "To eat without fear, to breathe without guilt, to sleep knowing someone is near." She met his eyes. "I thought I was alone." "You were," he said gently, "but not anymore." She studied him for a long moment. "You could have walked away that first night," she whispered. "I almost did," Adam admitted. "I told myself it wasn't my problem, that helping you would only make things harder. But you came anyway." He nodded. "You saw a stranger," she said, "but you still gave." "I didn't see a stranger," Adam replied. "I saw someone holding on to a child with nothing left but love. She reached out and touched his hand. "You saved him," she said. Adam shook his head. "No, you did. I just helped." Ray smiled. It was soft, tired, but full of something she hadn't felt in years. Trust. Outside, the wind blew gently through the broken buildings. The city was still ruined, still scarred, but in one small shelter, hope was awake. Not loud, not proud, just present. That evening, as they shared a second meal, Ray looked over at Adam and said, "I don't want to be a burden." He raised an eyebrow. "You're not." "I don't have much to offer," she said. Adam smiled. "You're wrong." Ray tilted her head. "You've already given me more than most," he said. "You gave me purpose." She blinked. "I thought you were trying to fix things." "I was," he said. "Turns out I was the one who needed fixing." They laughed together then, and that laugh, shared, quiet, real, was louder than any army, more powerful than any weapon, because the galaxy had taken everything from them. But kindness? Kindness gave it back, one warm bite at a time.